In the 1960s, British agricultural trials documented yields that many scientists believed should not be biologically possible. They recorded a crop that produced 100 tons, year after year, on soil so poor that almost every other crop failed. This plant required no fertilizer, no irrigation, and no replanting for 20 years. You could cut it 5 times in a single season, and it would regrow to its full size in just 4 weeks. Laboratory analysis confirmed decomposition rates that defied every known green manure. While other crops take weeks to break down and release nutrients, this plant literally melts into the soil in 48 hours. Victorian England cultivated it as insurance against starvation. By 1954, one man had systematically bred 21 varieties searching for perfection. Yet, by 2001, it had vanished from almost every garden center in America. Today, the global fertilizer industry generates $230 billion annually, consuming vast amounts of natural gas and producing massive carbon emissions to sell farmers something this plant produces for free. This is Comfrey. The war to erase it reveals what happens when nature offers something corporations cannot control. The story begins in 90 AD, when the Greek physician Dioscorides documented a plant with sticky roots in De Materia Medica, the text that remained Europe's primary medical reference for 1,500 years. He prescribed it for broken bones. The Greek name, symphytum, literally means to make grow together. The Romans proved it. Pliny the Elder recorded that when the roots were boiled into a paste, they could stick pieces of meat together. The adhesive held. For 2,000 years, Europeans called it knit bone. But in 1845, one man discovered its true potential, and it had nothing to do with medicine. Henry Doubleday was a poor Quaker in Essex when the Irish potato famine struck. He watched helplessly as 1 million people starved to death. He had tried manufacturing starch and producing glue for postage stamps, but both businesses failed. The images of mass starvation never left him. In the 1850s, while searching for a new glue source, he wrote to the head gardener at the Royal Palace in St. Petersburg, requesting a specific Russian variety of comfrey. Fate intervened. The plants he received were not pure Russian comfrey. They were an accidental cross, an F1 hybrid exhibiting genetic vigor that neither parent possessed. Doubleday had stumbled onto something unprecedented. These hybrid plants produced yields no one had seen before, 100 tons per acre. Doubleday abandoned the glue business. The Irish famine had shown him what mattered. This plant could prevent future starvation. He spent the next 30 years meticulously researching comfrey's potential as a food and forage crop. But still devoted to the plant he believed could feed a hungry world. And then tragedy struck. His family burned all his notes. 30 years of yield data, cultivation techniques, and nutritional analyses were gone. The full extent of his work vanished into ash. For decades, comfrey cultivation declined as the Industrial Revolution shifted agriculture toward mechanization and chemical inputs. Farmers forgot the Quaker who had achieved 100 tons per acre with nothing but a spade. In 1948, a young horticulturist named Lawrence Hills discovered Doubleday's forgotten story and decided to finish what the Quaker had started. Hills founded the Henry Doubleday Research Association, gathering comfrey strains from across Britain and growing 21 varieties side by side. He recorded every measurement and documented what the fire had destroyed. By the early 1960s, one strain dominated every metric, Bocking 14. It was sterile, producing no invasive seeds. It resisted disease, and it delivered the highest nutrient content of any comfrey tested. Then, Hills did something the fertilizer industry could not comprehend. He refused to patent it. Instead, he mailed root cuttings for free to anyone who requested them, gardeners in England, farmers in Africa, and experimenters in America. By the time Hills retired, Bocking 14 was growing on 6 continents. Laboratory analysis reveals why this terrified the chemical industry. Fresh comfrey leaves contain higher levels of potassium than farmyard manure. While manure rarely exceeds 1.5%, Bocking 14 delivers over 7%. But the decomposition rate is the real revolution. Most green manures, like alfalfa, clover, or grass, sit in compost heaps for weeks before releasing nutrients. But Comfrey's low fiber content means microbes devour the leaves in 48 hours. If you toss fresh comfrey onto a stalled compost pile, the temperature spikes within hours. The material transforms into black, nutrient-rich humus while other crops are still intact. The secret lies deep underground. Comfrey roots penetrate 10 feet into the soil, far beyond where vegetables and grains can reach. Those roots function as living mining drills, pulling up potassium, calcium, and phosphorus from the deep subsoil and concentrating them in the leaves. When you cut the plant, you are bringing deep earth minerals to the surface. It is a biological nutrient pump. By the early 1900s, the world faced a crisis. Natural fertilizer sources like guano were running out. Then, German chemists invented a process to synthesize ammonia from nitrogen in the air. It saved the world from starvation, but it addicted agriculture to fossil fuels. Today, that process feeds half the world's population, but it consumes vast amounts of natural gas and generates massive carbon emissions. The global fertilizer market depends on farmers buying bags of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium every single year. Comfrey threatens that entire model. You plant comfrey once, and it produces for 20 years.